if you've ever forgotten what you're going to say on a Monday morning because, it's Monday and then you show up unprepared, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks. Welcome back to another week of live trading. I am your host, Ryan Faloona. We are going to break this market down. We got cloud and retail coming up this week. We got a carryover trade that's working from Friday. Let's roll it.
Welcome to Benzinga Live Trading.
Let's see if this actually kind of comes back.
Way out of control, got way too high.
All right. Hey, I will take that. I will absolutely take that.
All right. As Steady User is saying, we as traders are the only people that really and truly know this moniker. TGIM. Thank God it's Monday. That means that the market is open. We've got some good news here for you today. Going to bring on my main man, 13. 13, how you doing? How was your weekend?
Oh, it's fine. I'm still trying to work through a big dinner I had yesterday, but that was delicious. So I'm ready to trade.
Any particular occasion for that, or were you just balling out, having a great Sunday?
I just wanted to take the family out, so we went to one of our favorite restaurants around here.
Hey, all right. I will say that I had a great Sunday yesterday. Yesterday marked Patrick Kane's first return to the United Center as someone from the opposing team. They also retired Chris Chelios' number. It was an amazing night, but perhaps best of all, my parlay cash. So I know the Hawks lost on a Kane OT winner, super exciting, but my parlay cash. So I think that I'm starting off Monday pretty good. Let's go ahead and dive into the market and take a look at what it's like here. We have the SPY actually up here again a little bit. So I know we had a nice little pop on Friday. We kind of retraced some of that move before the close. We were a little bit lower in the after hour session and in the pre-market, but now it actually looks like we did pop green for a sec. We might have backed off that a little bit. If we take a look at the SPY here, one of the things that I did based on one of the discussions that we've had recently, 13, is I basically drew a Fibonacci retracement, right? So I went from the COVID low to the high and then back out to the low. I extended it so we could see this shaded area. And it sure looks like we are near a turnaround level, right? We're at the 0.618 level on that fib extension. I have that number at just about 506, 507. We're currently at 508. So for me, I want to see if we turn around here or if we continue this move to the upside. You see anything else in this SPY chart of note?
No, I'm just going to wait and see if we go sideways and then break out to new highs again, or if we're topping out. I'm just kind of waiting and seeing at this point.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. By the way, that high print 510.13. So that's going to be one of the spots to the upside today to watch. That, of course, was put in intraday on Friday. Okay, the other stock that I wanted to take a look at here is PanW. We set up a potential trade here on PanW. One of the things we were looking for were 3 closes above the 200-day. Remember, PanW here reported earnings. Not that great of a report. Really kind of fell out of bed. We were right around 360. We traded all the way down to the 200-day moving average. Had this at about 261. I wanted to see 3 closes above that. Friday was going to be that third close. I ended up buying it near the close, and that trade is continuing here today. So this trade's working so far. If I'm going to go back and grade myself, though, I'm actually going to give myself a B-. It was a really good setup. It did exactly what we wanted, but actually my entry left some to be desired. I mean, first of all, we saw in the pre-market that this was likely going to be a strong day for PanW. Really, once we busted above 276 that second time and then back tested it here at 276.60-ish in there, there was no way that this was going to close below the 200-day. That would have represented a better entry. I actually entered around this consolidation up here around 282 on PanW. So we're up 6 points here today. I think this has got room to 300. I'm not sure if it's going to completely close the gap. To be quite honest with you, I won't even stick around for that entire trade, as we were just looking for kind of a shorter term trade here. But so far, PanW working. Definitely going to be watching this one out of the open. This was traded in my main account, not to trade the pool account, so I could carry it overnight. So we'll be looking to book some gains there on PanW. We'll see how this goes here. This is best in breed for cybersecurity. You know, the other thing that we should keep in mind here is there's going to be a lot of cloud reports later this week. I know if we take a look here, let's see, Wednesday is the big one, right? We're going to have Salesforce, Snowflake, Nutanix, all on Wednesday after the close. So we'll see how that affects some of these other internet names. I know PanW more cybersecurity than cloud, but maybe we'll see some overlap there. So that's it for in terms of carryover trades. In terms of Trade the Pool, remember the stream is sponsored by Trade the Pool. If you need to get above that 25K day trading threshold, Trade the Pool might be for you. Best prop firm out there, huge pool of stocks to trade from, and you can get up to 260K buying power if you're sure and you know what you're doing. So we love Trade the Pool. We love those guys over here. Thank you for checking that out. Okay, 13, do you have anything carried over from last week that you want to talk about, kind of set the record straight, or should we just move over to the new movers for today?
Yeah, I don't have anything that I was looking at in terms of just carrying over for the week. I'm just looking to see when we're getting some of the big economic news. I know that we're getting GDP and PCE later this week. Those are the big ones that I'm looking for, but we also do get new home sales this morning. So just curious to see what we get on that print.
Yep, we got, so looking at that calendar here, durable goods tomorrow in the morning.
Yep.
The Schiller Home Price Index tomorrow in the morning, like you had mentioned, GDP Wednesday morning. Atlanta Fed President Bostic also speaking on Wednesday, so we'll see what Wednesday does for us. Initial jobless claims on Thursday, S&P Manufacturing on Friday, ISM on Friday. So, okay. We'll take a look at some of those. You know, that's actually going to create some trading opportunities, I think, for us. Or at least, you know what? Let me rewind that. I hope that is going to create some trading opportunities for us. We've thought that some of these events were going to create more opportunity than they ended up creating. So we'll hope for that. We'll see where we end up going. All right, let's take a look here at the movers. Let's take a look at some of the stocks that are moving here today. First one that I have on the list, this is one that we've traded before. It's kind of a junky biotech, ticker ZVSA. This is Zulu Victor Sierra Alpha Zyversa Therapeutics here. Looks like we did pop to 160. We actually took it off briefly here in the premium, took out 160, I beg your pardon. We've kind of come back in here, but it looks like we're curling up on ZVSA. Let me see if we had any fresh news from today. No, as a matter of fact, I don't see anything here from Thursday. We did have a rumor from Wednesday saying that traders were circulating publication from the company on October 25th, so an old circulation here, that they have a drug being investigated to treat damaging inflammation associated with serious conditions such as obesity.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
This one's likely moving on relative volume, because if you look at how we've been moving over the past few days since that news you pointed out was brought up, it's continued to ramp up. So I think today we're just seeing that peak of relative volume play out.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right, 13. Reading my mind here. Here was when that rumor was circulated. You can see there was a volume pop, really kind of pinned the rest of the day. The following day, we actually traded up. Volume not very notable. But then, of course, on Friday, we really did have notable volume into the close that absolutely put it on the relative volume list for more traders. And guess what, 13? We're actually seeing that play out again here in the pre-market. So spot on. Great call here. We should have opportunity in ZVSA today. Let me go ahead and add the VWAP. We're actually 4 cents above the VWAP, so not a bad starting position here, ZVSA. Okay, you knew we weren't going to get through a day without talking about Hollow, right, 13? I mean, with this thing has been on the radar for what? Since it went from 1 to 51 in a day, this thing's been making moves. I know we really kind of sold off on Friday, popped a little bit in the after hours for those degen traders that were not ready for the weekend. But here we are in the pre-market, elevated volume, huge volume here in the pre-market, a nice little big move from Hollow. Looks like we moved from a 7 handle up to about 12 and change. We've come back here. We're flirting right around the VWAP. What are you thinking here on Hollow?
Well, you know, trade this at your own risk, but this is definitely the stock of the month for getting movement. I don't necessarily know how well of a company this is. I mean, I think I did take a look at it, and it's pretty decent. It's got things that can justify certain valuations above $1, but this thing is just crazy. And see, smoke tuna's no touch. It's really going to be up to you if you want to trade this. Mm-hmm. It's just trade it at your own risk. Know what you're getting yourself into by opening a position.
Yeah, and we've seen this thing go back and forth intraday. Even here in the pre-market, we're seeing pops and pullbacks of the entire pop. Look what happened here in the morning, right? We moved off this 745 up to about 940-ish. came all the way back down almost to 745 exactly. So you're right about that. This is going to be volatile. Make sure you have a plan in case the stock goes in either direction here today. I see Wiss mentioning hollow off 10. It does look like the recent bounce here is moving off of 10. So just keep some of those levels, mark them off on the chart if that makes it easier for you on hollow. But this one definitely going to be a wild one here today. Next, we have AGTI. I think this was a buyout, right? Glinty shares are trading high. Yeah, company announced it will be taken private by THL Partners. It's trading up to $9.90. I think that takeover price was right around 10. I don't think there's another trade here, but worth mentioning. This is why this one is moving here today. FRGT. Okay, so this, I got a love-hate with this stock. We've seen this on the scanner quite a bit. I've actually seen traders on the Twitter streets trading this one a whole bunch. Stock moves like crazy. I've done my fair share of taking losses and making gains on this stock. So I think I'm at about a coin flip in terms of actually taking this trade. You can see we've got kind of a low float on this name, 2.44 million shares in the float. On average, trades about 500,000 shares. Today, we've traded 9 million. I did see that we were awarded key routes with Eneva C's Universales. Not even sure what that is. So FRGT, this clearly moving here. 13. You got anything else on this one?
Other than it did a 1 for 10 reverse split on the 5th of February. You already hit the news. So, you know, you take the consonants out of, or I'm sorry, the vowels out of forget, and this is what you get. So I've kind of pretty much forgotten about this one. And,
I like that. I like that one. We're going to call this one forget from now on. I think we just got a new pet name for this stock. Let's go.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, smoked it. It's probably also a little bit of relative volume, but I think the news is really pushing it more than anything else. It could give you some trades, but, you know, I'm willing to already forget about this one.
Okay. We'll see if we forget about FRGT here today. Next on the list here is going to be Alt. This is ticker Altimmune. Stop me if you've heard this one before. We've traded this one off the scanner a number of times here. Alt, this one popping up towards 289. We almost hit 13. We've retraced 75% of this pre-market move already. We're actually beneath the VWAP by about 75 cents here. If we take a look at the news here, Altimmune investigation, Borenstein, Gurwitz, and Grossman looks like for seeking compensation for alleged wrongdoing. Kerrisdale Capital tells Benzinga, we are still short, ticker ALT. So getting a short mention there from Kerrisdale. Alt here did pop in the pre-market. Let's see where this one goes. Anyone got any type of trade plan or anything here on Alt? 53 million shares in the float. Not really a low floater. So Alt moving here, but I'll be honest. I kind of want to see how this one trades before I come up with any type of trading idea for it.
Yeah, this one does have a pretty decent short interest, but the days to cover is pretty low. So I'm not even sure we'll get much of a squeeze out of this anyway. Yeah.
Go ahead. No. So go ahead. I thought you were done.
I don't have a whole lot more to add. So go for it.
Okay. Smoke Tuna saying on Alt, be careful. I would reiterate that. Again, this is one that we've seen here before. We've seen this, you know, pop and drop and be all types of volatile. So if that's what you're looking for, you're in good shape. You can see that every time it seems to trade up, it seems to retrace that move in very, very short order. So just have a plan for that in case you end up seeing that here today. Okay, next on the list here is going to be Li Auto. Now, this is an EV company. Actually, I should mention that they also do hybrids. I misspoke earlier on pre-market prep before correcting myself here. Li reporting earnings here, trading higher. Li Auto shares trading higher if the company reported Q4 financial results above estimates and issued Q1 guidance. The guidance didn't look great to me, but this is not a company that I follow religiously. You guys know my feelings on EVs. They're here to stay. They're going to make up a huge part, but they're just not here yet. The interesting thing about Li here is this seems to be bucking the trend. So they're reporting earnings here, trading up 12% here in the pre-market. We'll see if we get an intraday trade here on Li, but this is what's going on here. You got anything on Li?
No, EVs already I stay away from, but China EVs I want to stay even further away from.
Well said. I'm the exact Same way. Okay, Rick, you were mentioning Walmart. Let's talk about Walmart. Maybe I should have mentioned this a little bit earlier when we were talking about the SPY. Walmart, of course, it's 3-for-1 forward split going into effect here today. Stock is $59. Looks like the closing price split adjusted. That's not easy to say. About 58.60 here. So Walmart trading up about $1 after the split. Let's see where Walmart ends up going here. We are near the highs on Walmart. If I actually back out to a weekly chart here, you can see we are pretty much at all-time highs. So curious to see how Walmart trades here. I will say it's not necessary. I don't necessarily have a trade plan for this. I'm not necessarily looking to trade this one, but I definitely want to see how it trades here after this split. Anything on Walmart for you, 13?
No, there's just a couple of smaller names that I'm looking at.
What are they? Let's take a look at them.
We didn't cover TRNR yet, did we?
No, we did not. Let me see if I can pull that up here.
Yeah, it's that one, and then VCNX are the only two that I'm looking at.
Yeah, so TRNR not on my movers list because it's under $1. But to 13's point here, this stock did pop about as high as $2 earlier. Interactive Strength shares are trading higher after the company announced that it entered into an exclusive worldwide distribution agreement with Woodway to sell and distribute CLMBR.
Yeah, and I typically don't trade under the $1 stocks, but if this comes back above $1, I'll be taking a look at it.
Yeah, and to be honest here, 13, the other thing you're looking at is about a 33-cent move back to the VWAP. So even if this thing does kind of bottom out and move back towards the VWAP, even if it doesn't totally get there, still have about 35 cents worth of movement on TRNR. Good mention here. I also noticed that MNPR is back on the movers list. This is, of course, one that we mentioned several times last week. Looks like they did pop here in the pre-market right above 180, came back in towards balance. Now we're still resolving higher, up about 10% here, just under 11% in the pre-market. But keep an eye on MNPR. VWAP at 155. We'll see if we take that out and go higher here on MNPR. Looking over the list here, just a couple of more, and we'll take some tickers from the chat. Good to see Gil in here. Good morning, Gil. You missed my shout out for you earlier, but we got him in here. Great to see you as well. Taking a look at another one here, we do have Micron trading higher here this morning. I'm not sure if you saw this one. Micron shares trading higher if the company announced that it had begun volume production of its HBM3E solution. So I don't follow Micron enough to know exactly what that is, but I've looked at enough charts to know that if we trade right above here, we are right at a breakout spot. So we are either going to find some resistance or possibly break out of this. I'll be honest, longer term, if the market stays bullish here, nothing saying Micron can't run another 10 points to 100 here. We'll see if it ends up getting up there. If it does, this would be a breakout on a possible triple top on Micron. You got anything on Micron, 13?
I wasn't looking at that, so I'm not.
Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, but it is, the RSI is starting to get a little bit high. I'll have to see. I'm just going to keep an eye on that. You're talking a breakout. That could happen. I just want to see what it does first.
Yeah, and full disclosure here, if I ever put you on the spot with any of these stocks and you don't have a trade plan, no big deal. I'm just kind of flipping around here. Real quick, in honor of Trade the Pool and in honor of Gil gracing us with his presence, here are the Trade the Pool stocks in play. Now, I think the one that I like the most off this list here is going to be Mara. We've got resistance here at 26.20. Now, Bitcoin did have a move in early this morning. We traded down to about 51,500. We bounced off that about 400 points. So Mara already getting some movement here, currently at about 24.45. That is just above the support that Trade the Pool is giving you here. So watch Mara out of the gate. You might have a trade there. We talked a little bit about Micron. They're saying here support at 90. So if we do take this 90, that should be support. And you have a little bit more resistance there at 94. Remember, I said this could probably run to 100 if it keeps up that strength. And then, of course, Tesla. We wouldn't have a day in the books if we didn't talk about Tesla here. Trade the pool support at 190 on Tesla. 190 was a big level for Tesla, and resistance here at 195.50. So we'll see if either of those are in play here. Here is Tesla. You can see we actually dipped down to that support already here in the pre-market and held it. Let's see if we do that when the market actually opens. So good stuff there. Gil also mentioned that he's taking a look at ticker DPZ, which is, of course, Domino's Pizza. They reported earnings pretty thin in the pre-market here. Domino's Pizza shares trading higher. The company reported better than expected Q4 EPS, raised its dividend, and authorized a buyback. You got the trifecta there. Good earnings, dividend, buyback, DPZ higher here, 462-ish there on the list. Okay. Let's take a look here. Is there anything else that you folks want to take a look at? I guess maybe we should take a look at DWAC. I'm seeing that mentioned here in the chat. Had a event over the weekend. What was it? South Carolina primary. Am I getting that correctly here? That was a pretty sweeping Trump win.
Yep.
Yeah, so what's interesting here as far as the trade goes, DWAC seems down here in the pre-market. I guess there's time for this to turn around, but given what's going on here, this DWAC currently sitting at about 47, down about 4% here in the pre-market. We'll check on DWAC, see if that ends up turning around here. And then Jay bringing up one that 13 and I talk about quite a bit. I know that you also mentioned PPC. Don't have research on that one, but Tyson, however, is a different story. Now, 13, I know that you and I have been talking about Tyson for a long time. This has been, maybe it's fair to say this has been a blue chip holding for us at different periods. I've got a buddy that works there, obviously. I've visited Fayetteville a number of times. I really like this company. Now, the last time that we talked about a potential long here, we talked about maybe a low 40s entry. Now, we didn't quite get there, so I didn't get any fills. Kudos to you. I know you were adding right around, I think, that 45, 46 level. Now, Jay here is saying could be a turn in the chicken names. When we look at the chart here, sure looks like this has bottomed about those mid 40s. Looks like it's actually using 50 as support here. What do you think about Tyson and this potential turnaround that Jay's talking about?
So if this doesn't, let me bring up a chart actually, so I can look at this. But I've got levels on here that I've been following for quite a while. This is one of those 1 year plus holds for me. So that was starting to buy those later in the second half of last year. We could be turning around. I mean, there's going to be a lot of different fundamental news. I think one of the big things about this was trying to uncouple from China, because they have about a $1.1 billion operation over there that they're trying to sell and get out of, because they're leaving that region. So I think, and one of the things is that it depends on who they're buying from, how good of a deal they'll get, and also whether or not they'll actually see that money. Depends on who they're selling to. So
we are open.
Oh, yes. And you always get me when I'm rambling about a stock.
Yeah, well, I do the same thing. And when I'm talking about a stock, I rarely actually keep it on or keep my eye on the clock. Worth mentioning here, Jay was more talking the fact that PPC, which is, of course, Pilgrim's Pride, they did report earnings here today. If we take a look at the daily chart here on PPC, sure looks like this wants to test that 35 level. Let's see a potential breakout if we can take 35 out there. But good luck, everyone. Let's see what we have on the list here today. First one I'm going to flip over to, let's see, ZVSA. Oh, you know what? I have to... Silly me. Let me relink this here. Yes. Okay. Here's ZVSA. Let's go to that 1 minute chart. Boom, boom, boom. All right. ZVSA. Let's see if we can take out 150 here. Let me go ahead and bring this up in Trade the Pool. I'm going to keep an eye on the scanner for the first couple of minutes here. When we start executing trades, I'm going to flip over to the Trade the Pool broker and we will execute right out of there. I am still carrying TGTX and ZIM, so we'll keep an eye on those as well. Okay, ZVSA here looks like the first move, unable to break that 150 here down to the 140 area. Let me go ahead and add the VWAP back here. See if we can actually hold that VWAP.
So it's trying to make another shot for it. Yeah, 150 seems to be the level at the moment.
Yep, indeed.
I got ACHR reporting tonight, so that's.
Oh, that's right. You know what? That wasn't on my list. 13. Thank you for bringing that up. Do you have any expectations, or are we just kind of watching this one here? Oh,
well, this one, I've been trading around this one. If it goes under $5, I start to add more, and if it goes over 5.20, that's when I start to lighten up. It's so depending on how earnings go. If it's a this company eats money because it's still in the development phase. So I wouldn't be surprised if this traded lower on the AR. So more buying opportunities. If it runs tomorrow, then I'll just sell a portion of what I have. So there's a plan for either direction.
ZVSA, while we were discussing that plan, rocketed through that 150, took that out here, 168 new highs. So it actually took out those pre-market highs here. ZVSA 180 now. Big move here. Definitely, if you took this one in the pre-market, probably not a bad idea to lighten into this power candle here. ZVSA printing that 180. Let's see where this one moves. I got 183. Wow, big rip here, ZVSA. Where does this halt at?
Probably here.
Yeah, I think 183. I think you're right, 13. I think this is it if it holds right here.
Yeah, and we can go to a daily chart and we could see that back in December, this thing went up to 303. So we're halted down. Went up to 303. So this one could, try to go for those figures again.
Looks like my daily chart here is giving me a little bit of trouble. Let me see if I can get this on a different one real quick.
Going to start putting some levels out here. Okay.
Yeah, here we go. Here we go. I got you instead. So here is ZVSA. Let me add back that VWAP. Boom. All right, 183. ZVSA halted. Nice first move out of the gate there on ZVSA. All right, Jay mentioning that Mara is running here. Let's take a look at that. I did notice that move in Bitcoin right out of the open was to the upside, 52,000. Looks like it tried to test 52,200. Currently holding that 52,000. Here is that rip out of Mara, taking out that 24.72 in the pre-market, going higher here. Nice move here in Mara.
Yeah, Bitcoin looks like it's just setting up to go higher.
It sure does. Tesla, speaking of higher, Tesla higher right out of the gate here. Nice power candle here on Tesla. Let's see, we're trading up to the one of the intraday top levels, about 195-ish there. That came from Friday.
ICCM now breaking down. So
ICCM, that's another one that we've traded right off the scanner before. So that looks like that popped, came back in, and as you said, breaking down here, 13.
We were just talking about this one in the happy hour chat because they had some news this morning that saw the pop, and now we were trying to figure out why it's going down because the news seemed pretty good, but there's probably something else going on with this.
100% tumor reduction in early. Yeah, I'm with you, 13. That sounds like great news. Does not explain the move that we're seeing. Interesting.
Yeah. I started looking into what that company actually does, and I think the technology they use to get that result it's not exclusive to this company. There's
okay.
Others. So I mean, let me get the correct name for you of what it is. It's cryoablation. So this is, there's several companies out there, probably even better companies than this one, that actually use that for, I think it's pain relief.
Okay.
This is for treating tumors. So this is not a new technology. That's probably why it's not doing so well, because there might be other companies out there with the same technology that can administrate the treatment better.
Gotcha.
That's just my thought.
That explains why it falls off here. Hollow making a run for 12. So you hollow traders, take a look at that. OCEA, I see this getting mentioned here. OCEA trading up to the high end of the pre-market range. It's done a really good job taking out that VWAP after that initial dip there. Now we're actually building above. Watch for OCEA to take out 180. We actually had some action here late Friday on this. I don't really see any news. I just see a whole bunch of halts going on. So maybe just some continued relative volume trading here today. OCEA, watch that 180 level. See what else is going on here. B-Fly, that's up near the highs. I didn't see anything on that. Altimmune coming back for its VWAP here.
The thing about ZVSA that I noticed is that between $2 to $2.50, there's it's a pretty good supply zone. So it may have trouble getting through there, but once we break through $2.50, this thing could, I don't know, it could probably go well over $3.
Yeah, so I'm taking a look. I'm taking a look at that here. I definitely see some consolidation here. Let's call it 198 to 221, and then here's your 250 level that you just mentioned, 13. So, it'll be interesting to see how much oomph this stock actually has when it opens here. No, we're still in that halt. By the way, CPOP, this also got mentioned by Smoke Tuna. This one we've traded a little bit last week. This did pop into a halt as well here, 470 on CPOP.
This one's funny.
Yeah, so I know another quick break here from the market. Jay, I saw this too. I was actually hoping you were going to bring this up, and you did not disappoint. I can appreciate that. Never give up. That is definitely the story of the weekend here. Jake Knapp, who won the PGA event, was a nightclub bouncer a couple of years ago, literally removing people from nightclubs, and he's not even that big of a guy. Couldn't have been the greatest job. Won yesterday, won a ton of money. Now he's going to play in the Masters in April. I think this is awesome, Jay. Never give up. Even if things look like they're kind of down or on their way out, never give up. You have no idea when that next big break is going to come. We saw that if we watched golf this weekend. Great mention here. That was awesome for him. Awesome for Knapp. Okay, real quickly here, just mentioning as I'm seeing it on a different screen, Pan W, this trade is absolutely working. Giddy up. Pan W looks like a little bit of a dip there right out of the open. Now pushing to some new highs here. 291 printing here on Pan W. Again, I gave you 300. I had kind of a starter position, not a very big, heavy position here, but we're doing really good. We're up 8 points, looking for another 10 on Pan W. That trade working out really, really well.
Yeah, I noticed that
CVSA. I'm sorry for interrupting you. No, it's not 13 because it opened, it rocketed up to 224, and it halted again before I could mention it. So no, as a matter of fact, it is still halted, but it is halted higher now.
All right, so it is trying to push through that supply. I was just talking about what was the one? Root. That one had a pop out of the open and then it came back in, but it doesn't seem like it's doing a whole lot right now. We also had MRVI. We traded this one last week, I believe. Yeah, on Friday. This one popped out of the gate. And now it's lower. It's halted to the downside. What else?
All right. I see Berkshire Class B shares bouncing. Dennis talked a little bit about that on pre-market. He faded that move in the pre-market, which is just awesome. That bouncing here. So that's pretty interesting. One of the other stocks that I'm seeing, and just kind of taking a look around at some of the bigger cap names just to see what the action is like. Apple here pounding the lows. So Apple right at lows out of the gate. That's bucking some of the other names here. Remember, we took a look at Tesla. That was pounding the highs. Netflix also on the highs. And then Amazon up in the pre-market a little bit, really kind of dipped out of the open. Maybe it's recovering this here, looking for a VWAP reclaim on Amazon. So some of these bigger stocks moving. You guys mentioning that Hollow is halted. Look at that. Nice. Rick, great. Yep. Rick, Lynn, you guys are all on top of it. Hollow here halted 1271 to the upside.
Yeah, I picked up the Class B of Berkshire back in August and October. When it was closer to the 350 area. This thing's very extended, so I wouldn't be surprised that we come back in a bit with the Berkshire shares. Yeah,
that was basically what Dennis was saying today. Had no business being up as much as it was. That was the impetus for his short. But okay, Hollow here halted. Now let me flip over to and Bourne. Sorry, I almost skipped over this. Apologize, Bourne. Good morning, by the way. Happy Monday. 180, 150, big level here from Apple. Guess what? That is exactly where Apple bounced off of. Good shout there, Born. Let me go ahead and flip over to trade the pool here now. Oh, I got to add it to the stage here. We're going to flip over to trade the pool. Let's see what we can't actually execute on here. Remember, this is ZVSA trading. This is, of course, halted here. Let's see what else we got here.
Apple's making, it looks like it's trying to make its 5th visit to the 180 level since the year started.
Yeah, and we've talked quite a bit about that 180 level being pretty important for Apple. You think here, let me identify this on the daily chart here. So in this chart here, upper left, kind of in the middle here, this 180 level, very, very clear support. We've bounced off this 3 times. What do you think, 13? The 4th time the charm, we break down, you think we bounce again?
The more a level gets hit, the sooner or later, I think that level gives in, and we're going to go under 180. I don't know if it's going to be this visit or the next visit, but sooner or later, we're going to break through 180.
Bingo. It's like you and I were playing duo men's volleyball right there. I just kind of set that and bam, you spiked it home. That is exactly what I'm thinking. I think if we get another test here at 180 on Apple, especially if the market is a little bit weak in the backdrop here, I wouldn't be surprised if Apple actually kind of broke down from that level. You can see if we did break down from that level, the next consolidation here pretty much puts us at 172, maybe even 166 on that ultimate low there on Apple. So if we do break this, maybe we do have a move down here. David Lynn mentioning that PanW is still going. Yes, it is. That is exactly what we were hoping for here. I think a 300 test is probably on deck here for PanW. That trade working out real well. I didn't even take that very big, and that's working out real well. So awesome stuff there. Take a look around the Twitter streets. Looks like Tyson is continuing higher here. Tesla's still up near highs.
Let's see. Sorry, I'm just taking a look and seeing some of what the bigger names are moving.
All good, man. I'm kind of looking around too here. I guess I can roll some of the other stocks off the scanner here. TRNR. This is one that I got to get the right TRNR. This is one we took a look at earlier. This is really not moving here. Let's take a look at B-Fly. B-Fly, that did pop off the high here. That's moving higher here. So it looks like B-Fly looking pretty good. Boy, I took that off my screen for just a couple of seconds. And it looks like it's rolling. How about MNPR? That was one from last week. Is that still going here? Not really. Flushed a little bit. Still struggling to retake VWAP. How about GoTo? I see that on the scanner here. GOTU. Ooh, GoTo here ripping. I'm not sure what's going on here. I don't see a new trade, but I see this ripping here. Oh, we're getting asked to check Lunar. Can you riddle saying check Lunar? So 13, you followed this probably more than anyone else. You see the down move here in the after hours. So correct me if I'm wrong. I'm going to tell you what I think happened, and then you fill the holes if I was wrong. This stock, initially, they said that they were having communication trouble. Then they said everything was all right. Then we found out that the lander tipped over, and that's why we're not getting pictures?
I don't think that's the reason why we're not getting pictures. I thought there was another issue with the camera. I mean, it could be related to that, but
okay.
With the number of things that have not gone right with this, I think that it's just, shaking investors out. They're just like, okay, well, the trade's over. They landed. They're on the moon. Things aren't working out, with some of their instrumentation, maybe it's time to leave, and that's just what they're doing. So yeah, I think that's what's happening.
I think you're probably right there. The lunar lander tipped over and the trade is tipped over. Well said there. Well said, 13. Okay, let's take a look here at Hollow. Looks like that is running to the highs here. How about Tesla? Let's take a look at Tesla. I know that's moving to the highs here. Guess what? 196. Isn't that, let me go back to the brand here. What did
Hollow hit 13 and coming back in.
Tesla, look at this. Tesla trade the pool gave us resistance at 195.50. Tesla currently at 196.50. So let's see if it gets heavy here. Remember, especially with some of these levels. It can overshoot them and come back in. Tesla at that resistance level. Let's see if it continues to move higher here or if we turn around. How's Nvidia doing? Trade the pool. Gil also mentioning Nvidia. Let's see where we're at here. Okay, so wow, Nvidia coming back. It's trading down. I almost can't even believe it. This thing does nothing but go up here. Looks like Nvidia back testing some of these levels here. Looks like we actually traded down exactly to the dip spot from Friday, and it's trying to bounce here. Let's see if Nvidia can reclaim 800.
Yeah, and then ZVSA came out of the halt. Now it's going down, and then halted again.
So there you go. Came out of that halt, popped higher here. Where did we get to? About 251, it looks like, and then a reversal here, almost back at VWAP, ZVSA. Careful with some of these smaller ones.
Yeah, Hollow went up to it's okay. Now it's through the next level I had, which was 1350.
That's for Hollow, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Bring that up here for you. Here is Hollow. That went right through that 1350. Look like 14's on deck here for Hollow.
Yeah, 14, about 1480 seems to be the next big level. That's where we got some support. The last time it was trading up this high, it came down off of much higher figures and found support at around the 1480 level. Went down beneath it, came back up at in support. You can see how that was happening on the 22nd and 21st of this month.
Hollow here. This actually, this 1 hour chart here actually looks like there's a decent curl going on Hollow. We really kind of bottomed out here on Friday. The volume bars actually look pretty good. I wouldn't even be shocked if Hollow really started to take off. Not in it here because I'm watching Pan W go up like the next rocket that's going to land on the moon. But watching Hollow here, I wouldn't be surprised if this gets jiggy again here.
Looks like Root still has life in it. Just slow life.
Almost like it's rooted to the ground and growing like a tree. You know what? This here, a nice little extension move from Friday here on Root. This looks like a pretty nice breakout. Let me get this on a bigger chart here real quick and take a look to the left. Let's get this chart up here on Root. It flipped over to Burke B.
It doesn't have the volume, but it looks like Freight Tech is trying to come back.
Is that FRGT?
That's the one we tried to forget.
That's forget. Okay, Freight Tech here. It's actually not breaking down, but again, still waiting for that VWAP reclaim. I'm not sure if we're going to get that. Really got to maybe it's got to take this out. Let's see here. Let me zoom in here a little bit. What do we got here? 246, 245, maybe the spot there, FRGT. While we're waiting for FRGT, Jay, I tried to go to this one where this is Carvana. Okay, CVNA. This definitely, I'm with Jay here. 13, we've talked about this one having high short interest and a potential squeeze here. Jay here going on record saying it's still squeezing the shorts. Jay, I got to agree with you. I got to agree with you here. This thing absolutely still moving on a higher than average short interest. Let me go back to Pro here real quick. CVNA. We take a look at this chart here. Sure, look, this thing bottomed out. We heard last week vending car machines are empty. Who knows what Carvana's doing here? Carvana gapped up on earnings. Now it seems to be pushing even higher here. Look at this move here on Carvana. Almost all buying volume here today. We're back up towards the intraday highs of Friday. Short interest. Let's see, we actually got one. We're still due another one here pretty soon. Short interest, still 43% of the float shorted. Over 6 days to cover. Definitely squeeze action going on here in Carvana.
Yes, sir. That's those are the figures to squeeze. Let me look at the high short interest of most companies. There's like a nice website you can go to.
Yeah. That's a good get some context there. That's a good idea. By the way, while you're doing that, Mara ripping this thing, nothing but a big power move out of the gate here. Great call on Mara early on, Jay. That thing is still moving here.
The only other stocks that show up as having higher short interest are Fisker, Noravax, Upstart, and Beyond Meat.
Okay,
so we're higher than Carvana.
So we're talking about only 4 stocks out there that have more short interest than Carvana.
Yeah.
Look for that thing to keep moving here. Mara, great move here. Taking a look at Pan W here. Gosh, I hope some of you guys took that Pan W trade with me. I tried to give that to you ahead of time, what I was looking for, what the entry trigger was here. Pan W printing above 297. I think maybe we do get that 300 here today. That would be great. That trade is rocking here. Pan W.
Let me ask you, is this more of an earnings thing that you're doing with Pan W here, or is this around a cybersecurity theme?
So that's a great question. So first of all, this is if you can't beat them, join them. A lot of these names here, especially these tech names, I've been, having a bearish outlook on the market. I've been saying, hey, tech really needs to pull back. We talked ad nauseum about Nvidia, SMCI, the same deal here. Well, we talked a lot about cybersecurity recently, and we were mentioning how difficult that trade actually was. When we're talking about a difficult trade, really the only stock that I feel pretty good about buying is going to be a best in breed. Now, how often do we get best in breed having humongous discounts? This stock, $360, reported earnings, really not that great, but not the end of the world. We got a massive discount. Overnight, we had a stock pull back to the 200-day moving average. At this point, I'm saying, look, if we're going to look for quality companies here, they're not going out of this. Is probably a bounce play. We tried this on Amazon. We tried this on Humana. We tried this on DuPont. Now we're trying it here on Palo Alto. Decided to go with shares here instead of options, just because some of those options are ridiculously priced. I just did a small share position here. This was effectively a bounce play off of a support area in a industry leader. It just happens to be cybersecurity.
Okay. I didn't know if you were keeping a cybersecurity watch list. I keep one. So when I see moves like what Pan W has been doing over the past several days, I look to see if we're getting, some relationship trades or some of these other companies. I'm looking at my cybersecurity list. They're almost all up. So I was just wondering if there's a theme that's unfolding with cybersecurity, or if this is just the earnings you were playing on.
Well, remember last week we got reports about different banks having trouble. It looked to be a kind of a cyber attack. So the backdrop is really here for this. I'll say this though, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. The setup for this was purely a move on a leader down to a very, very clear support level. Then we had that support level confirmed by 3 closes above it. This is simply a bounce play, but hey, if the entire cybersecurity sector is going to be green today, I'll take it. Pan W moving towards the highs here. Let's see if we can get that 300 print.
Yeah, I have about like 30 names on my list, and there's only 4 that are down today. So
Jay mentioning LNTH. This was a really good earnings buy. Is this cybersecurity? I can't remember. This is not what I'm familiar with. Diagnostic products, precision diagnostic. No, this is medical. This is medicals. But this still same deal here. Really good performance after earnings.
If anybody wants some of these names that are doing pretty decent today, here's a few of them. Big Bear AI. It's BBAI. That one's up 3.33%. Data storage, DTST, that one's up 3%. CSP is up 6%. CSPI. The company's name is CSP. And then you have Palo Alto, of course. Palantir is up 2%, and Zscaler is up to almost 2.5%. Unisys up 4%, UIS. So some of these names are doing pretty good.
Yeah, and this Zscaler one, another pretty big bounce here. CPSI, this is one I think I see floating around on Twitter out there. I don't know much about this. No position here for me in CPSI. I have been seeing this one get mentioned recently. Oh, no, is that CSPI? Excuse me.
CSPI,
yeah, that's my fault. That's my fault for mixing the ticker up. This is the one that I've seen mentioned. You can see it's recently had a pretty huge move here.
Yeah, so maybe that's something to take a deeper look into. If all these names are starting to get going, and we're really starting to get cybersecurity threats start stacking up in the U.S., that might be a good theme.
Yeah, and to your point, 13, this trade might lead to kind of a basket trade, right? That's the other thing here. I wouldn't necessarily be opposed to that. By the way, DTSS being mentioned here by Smoke Tuna, this thing ramping. This thing looks like it was moving away from the VWAP here, so pretty decent movement on good volume right now.
Marcus Sniper saying Root is starting to get some more volume. This is another short squeeze candidate, I believe, as well. Let me take a look here. I thought they were.
I think you were talking about the short interest in this last week, unless I'm mixing it up with a different ticker.
10% float shorted, but their days to cover is almost 14.
That's what it was. It was the high days to cover. Absolutely.
Yep. So
Neville's asking for thoughts on Google. So let's take a look at that. GOOGL is what I. So look, I don't want to speculate here. I saw some pretty disappointing news about Google over the weekend and late last week. I'm not necessarily going to get into it. This definitely does not seem to be participating with some of the other tech names. Now, keep in mind, this looks very similar to Apple. Okay, so Apple trading down here. But in terms of some of these other tech names, and maybe it's just AI, I guess Nvidia is down here a little bit. Let's see, SMCI. Maybe I misspoke there. So it looks like some of these larger tech names really kind of coming back in. I think I was looking too much at PanW, honestly, is what happened there. Some of these other names coming back in. Tesla at the highs. AMD, does that look the same? Yeah, a lot of these charts look the same. It looks like just kind of a pullback after a big run there.
Yeah, and remember some of these other names like Google and Meta, those big names, they're in a different sector than they are compared to Microsoft and Amazon. So keep that in mind too. You might be seeing some sector movement as well.
Yeah, and Jay, you're actually bringing up a good point. Mark Andreessen was making some comments on Google. AI isn't AI when you have people entering the data. This is kind of what I meant. So good job kind of skipping to the meat of the bone here. Their new AI product, if it's not actually AI, if it's being trained, if it's being given an inherent bias, where's the actual value here? And I think that's what Mark's comments were about here. That definitely is not. We've seen how Nvidia's performed when they have good AI news, Google not necessarily getting that. I will say here, looking across the market, some of the other tech names down just like Google is.
Yeah, and what do we say when they try to go woke?
They go broke.
That's right.
Go broke. IOVA, this was a monster call from last week. We had a 1260 break on IOVA on Wednesday or Thursday. Let's see, this is Wednesday. IOVA still moving 5 points higher than that. TRNR, let's go to that 13.
This is one of the ones I was bringing up this morning. They signed the distribution agreement with Woodway. This one was, it popped and then it kind of just sank all pre-market. May have found a bottom here and is trying to push back up now. But just wanted to put this one on the radar.
And here we are reclaiming VWAP. I've got a little bit of size above here at 110. Still a little bit of size on that 107 offer. So this area right in here, some clear resistance. 107 gone. 110 getting chomped. That's gone too. Next spot here, 120 at some size. TRNR, great call, 13. This one moving here right after that pop.
Yeah, this one has about 6 million.
13.
Thank you. This one has about 6 million shares traded on the float. So easy to push around. I'd like to see VCNX get going. That one's super low float, under 1 million shares, and they had a reverse split last week.
TRNR pulling back a little bit now. VCNX, did you say?
VCNX, yep.
VCNX. Here is your chart for VCNX.
Doesn't look like we have anything going on with that one
No,
yet.
it looks like low volume to me.
As soon as volume moves, it starts coming into this one should get moving pretty easily.
Fair enough. IBRX looks like this is kind of curling off that $4 bottom right back to the VWAP. This could also use some more volume here. IBRX. Morning Beach Bum. Dugan mentioning INOD, saying the bottom might be in. Yeah, so this is an interesting one. Dugan, I appreciate you bringing this one back up. So remember, I had sold out of this one. We looked like we were trying to bounce here. And then really on Friday, this stock really, really weak. Sold off again, took another leg lower here. Maybe this has kind of found the bottom. I will say I did take a small starter here. Just re-grabbed 100 shares, and I actually paid $7.90. Boy, so I'm underwater here, but again, very, very small position. I'm just trying to catch this and see if we bounce back here on INOD. But Dugan, you're right. Maybe that bottom is in. Zoltan also mentioning INOD is manipulated, so keep that in mind. That short report, the more I take a look at that, the more shady that actually feels. But I can't prove anything, and I don't really want to speculate more than I'm already doing with my trading account. Definitely seemed like a silly short report.
I think it's just worth looking at their earnings and just what the overall strength the company has, and just go with that. I would ignore the short report.
And they had a good print, right? It read well, looked like they were, making money. So good things there at INOD. We'll see if that holds up here. Dugan, great mention though. Keep an eye on this one. It's funny. I've traded this twice in the past for some pretty good sized swings in before the recent trade, which wasn't actually all that big. The first time I ever traded this, I took this from 4 to 9. And the second time I ever traded this, I took it from 6.5 to 9. So 9 seems to be where I'm going to sell. It has been as high as 12. I think it's probably worth 15 if all things work out here. But just my opinion there on INOD. I'm long, very small. 790 is my price. Okay, let me keep flipping around to some of these other names in here. By the way, this is also AI related, which is why we were talking about it. Let's take a look at
ZVSA. Sorry, before you go to that, ZVSA is just absolutely falling out of bed. So I don't know if this one's done, but it seems like it might be.
Okay, so we got that pop higher there. Looks like we got a couple of halts. After the third halt, this thing rolling over here. I'm with you, 13. This moving through the VWAP. Let's see if maybe we find some support in here at the consolidation area, the pre-market 140. I think past that, maybe 101. But you're right here. Without this showing any type of current strength, I think I'll probably look for something else. And if you need strength, all you have to do is look at PanW, those little dip buyers that tried to get in there and move the stock back down, or excuse me, the sellers trying to move the stock back down. Dip buyers are like, nope, we're going to test 300 here. Let's see. Looks like Hollow getting some more mentions here. Hollow making a move back towards those highs. You folks are on top of it. I love to see it. Love to see it.
Yeah, as frightening as this stock can be, this has been the big mover today. Just, presenting some pretty good trades, but I'm not touching it.
And 13, we might not have even seen the big trade. Wait and see if this thing gets any type of volume expansion on a move through this 1390. Let's call it 1450. You know what? It happened in the after hours. I can't even make fun of you for it. That's actually not even bad. 13. Oh, I love when you come with energy in the morning. Awesome. Jay mentioning that the Bitcoin names are strong. The move in Bitcoin still has its strength, and that is spreading out to all of the different names. Now, Coin near the highs. We already took a look at Mara, that holding up near the highs. Riot, probably the same deal in here. CLSK, Clean Spark, that's another name that we've traded recently here. All of these names holding up here. CLSK flagging. This actually might go higher here. I got a little bit of size there, 1872 and 1874. Let me see what else we're taking a look at here.
TRNR might be going higher.
TRNR now moving away from that VWAP. So we did test that VWAP. Now we've broken it 13, and it looks like we're trying to push away from that. Wiss mentioning DWAC is curling off the bottom and reclaiming the VWAP. Keep your eye on this one. This one can go crazy in a hurry. Daniel wants to know about Oxy. Oxy having a really good day, all buying candles on that 3-minute chart here on Oxy. This trading up here, it's at about 60.74. I know it's hard to see on this daily chart, but we've actually got a confluence of a few things in here. First of all, we have the price consolidating. We also have the 100-day moving average. I've got that at 59.93, and we also have the 200-day moving average just a little bit higher than that. So Oxy actually looks like a potential breakout spot, but either potential resistance or breakout spot here on Oxy.
INOD is continuing to move up higher. We're coming up to a moving average and an EMA that I'd be careful of. If you're trading this, consider taking a look at the 742 level. That could be some resistance.
Okay, so there you go on the INOD 742 potential resistance. Antoinette wants to take a look at BKKT. I remember that ticker. Where's this thing at right now? It's just a 90-cent stock here. This actually looks like maybe this put in a bottom or so. Yeah, last time it dropped below this level, it got bought back up and actually went on a huge run that took it above 250. So BKKT, nothing new here. Really, really kind of low volume right at the VWAP. Don't see a whole lot going on here, but maybe that chart has bottomed.
ZVSA is looks like the drop down has stopped. We'll see.
This is the consolidation area right at the end of the pre-market.
Yeah.
Oh,
yes, you're right. Yeah.
I just noticed that INDI showed up on my relative volume scanner. This is that small energy play that Jay brought to us a long time ago. Jay, really good mention on this one. I still actually have a starter position of this. Might actually have to add here today. Let's see about that. We'll see about that. INDI, Hollow here. It's getting mentioned here quite a bit. Hollow looks like new highs here coming on Hollow. Hollow going for 14 again.
You guys get it.
VTYX also being mentioned by Smoke Tuna. Remember, we had semaglutide news, I believe, from this last week. Looks like we dropped here out of the gate, retook the VWAP, pushing higher here. Good call, Smoke Tuna. Good call.
Looks like we just had to wait for some of these names to, shake out a bit. Now they're moving up.
Lunar holding at its VWAP, not really giving us any type of move, so to speak, yet. SSNT being mentioned in the chat here.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to move Lunar again. Maybe some kind of deal to do instruments or bring or launch another spacecraft. I don't know what the news could be on Lunar. That trade might be over for a while.
TRNR here broke beneath the VWAP and moving lower, so something to keep in mind there. OCEA, which we took a look at here before, this holding right at the VWAP. Remember the day that this thing went into the 20s? What a wild day that was. Yeah, 24 and change on OCEA. It was such a huge move. Anyway, OCEA here building up off the lows right at the VWAP. Really needs some volume flow to get moving here, though. How about FRGT, the stock we were supposed to forget about? Seems fairly forgettable thus far this morning. Now, it has held this kind of low area here, but really no dip buying to speak of. 33 cents under its VWAP. We'll see if it can get back there. It's really got to get going, though.
It may have found a bottom from the 200 EMA on the 5 minute. So if we can hold this this 230 level, it might start moving up. It's getting through VWAP again. So I'll just wait for this one to curl.
Yeah, there you go. And kind of looking at the Smoke Tuna indicator here, the MACD histogram did end up going positive here. Now, these signal lines are flattening out, but not pitching up yet. This interesting. Maybe the bottom is in here on FRGT. Smoke Tuna mentioning IREN. Let's take a look at IREN here. Looks like this moving out of the gate here. A back test towards the VWAP and maybe going higher on IREN. I don't see any entry right here yet.
Yeah, this one looks like it might head higher as far as entry goes. Yeah, I mean, maybe it comes back down to VWAP, which I have at about 648. But other than that, I don't know.
ZVSA trying to do a little bit of a pop there at that potential bottoming level that you mentioned, 13.
Bitcoin is trying to shoot for 52K.
It's 52,600 right now. I think it's trying to shoot for 53.
Okay, I'm going on. I mean, if you're looking at futures, you're probably getting.
Yeah. You know what? You're right. I'm looking at sorry about that. I'm looking at a different instrument there. Bitcoin futures /BTC in your trading platform.
Yeah, I'm just using BTC USD.
Okay.
That's I think those are the live figure. I'm not sure what the difference is other than in time frame. TRNR is trying to stay above $1.
Sorry, just clearing some stuff off the deck here real quick.
Yeah, just looking around for some setups here. It really does seem like Freight Tech is just kind of consolidating and waiting to set up for its next move. I don't know when that's going to pop. Just something to keep on your radar, though.
Let's take a look at a couple of these here. Look at Pan W. We're going to get that 300 test here. We're what, 20 cents away? Let's see what we do here at 300 on Pan W.
Looks like iNod might have slowed down a bit.
Indeed. Someone mentioning Lily is running. Okay, Lily, a nice little push up here, back test off that VWAP. There is 300 prints on Pan W. We did it, folks. We got to 300 there. So what do you think? Do I sell and just book the gains, or do I hold this as it continues to show some strength?
I mean, when I have something like that, I tend to sell into the strength, just not
Yeah,
at once.
that's kind of what I'm thinking here. If we get another dip on Pan W, might have to add it back here. Let's give it a sec here and see where we go.
I don't think it's bad necessarily to be taking your gains off the table.
Definitely not.
But if you think this has still got more legs, then don't sell it all.
Yeah, let's see the battle at that round number for 300. I know we've kind of come off of it a little bit. Let's see if we have another shot there. In the meantime, we're going to go ahead and check on DWAC. This did curl up off the bottom through that VWAP. Looks like it's back testing it now. We're going to get Jay's favorite stock up here, Blink Charging. This is coming up off the bottom, 300. I'm just kidding, Jay. I'm just kidding, Jay. Charge Point, might as well check at that. Another dog here, this thing 199. They're up, but let's not make too much of that.
When I was looking at that short interest list earlier, Blink was up there as well. It's got 33.5% float shorted, but days to cover is only 3.2, so not really that many days to cover. Still, short interest is pretty high. You probably are seeing a little bit of squeezing out of this, at least.
Jay mentioning Meta, Microsoft, Apple, Google, Amazon, all red here. Indeed, they are. Now, looking at a lot of these charts, they're trying to reclaim their VWAP here. But to Jay's point, all of these here are red.
But what is green? What is green? The IWM.
And the IWM, that's probably why my port's having a decent day here today. 201 IWM.
I've been saying this in the happy hour for a while. I'm looking for rotation out of those Mag 7 and into the IWM. The IWM has been the most beat up sector, compared to all the other sector ETFs, DIA, Qs, SPY. They're all doing much better than the IWM. IWM needs some rotation, some love, if you will. And when we start selling out of those big names, I think the smaller cap names that are just absolutely crushed are getting rotated into.
And there's so much concentration in those bigger names that if that starts to diversify at all, it should be a good tailwind for IWM. I'm with you on that, 13. Not only do I want to see that, but I'm also positioned for that. Look out, folks. OCEA is ripping now. So right through that 160 VWAP, we've actually now taken out the intraday high, the pre-market high. OCEA continuing to move to the upside. We're at about the top end of the range of the consolidation area from the after-hour session on Friday. The next spot up on that, I've got at 233. The stock just touched 2. Let's see if we can keep going here. OCEA for you day traders. Nice little volume pop right there. That's what we wanted.
Don't forget now, but Forget is starting to move up. It's coming up into a supply zone, and if we start breaking through those, we get up to those pre-market highs again.
Current price 245, VWAP 271. Let's see if we can close that gap on Forget. I like it. I like the pet nicknames that you come up for with stuff. You got a creative mind for that. It's really good stuff. Let's take a look here. CLSK. I tell you what, as far as a day trade goes, on that Bitcoin move, CLSK, this would have been an absolute monster here today. This thing has done nothing but trade up. The dip was very, very short-lived and bought here. So CLSK moving nicely here with Bitcoin.
This was a good stock back in 2020 and 2021 or whenever it was that this was really moving with the other Bitcoin names, because this one has had some kind of microgrid attachment to the company. So I don't have all the details on it, but this was one of the more interesting ones when Bitcoin was going crazy.
Yeah. And this actually has a pretty powerful chart right now, for sure. Let's take a look at some of the other names here that we were taking a look at. Here's Alt. So Altimmune doing a decent job flagging and coiling here, and we're doing it above the VWAP, so that's nice to see.
Look at where INOD went up to and reversed.
Looks like that 750 area. Did we actually touch 750?
I was saying
740.
That 742 was where we could get resistance, and I think we got up to 740. Yeah, 740. So pretty close.
2 cents, Joe. 2 cents off that.
Now we're going to try to see if it can move through that level, or if we're going to get resistance and sell back and make it come back down to closer to 7. So, and I have Bitcoin now at through 52K. So all those Bitcoin names are probably doing really well right now.
Kalu absolutely destroying it off OCEA. Way to go, my man. Way to
Nice.
go. Pat yourself on the back for taking that risk and executing that trade. Remember, no celebrations until the trade is closed.
Mm-hmm.
Bitcoin's still popping to the highs while we're on that note.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. So INOD still kind of just hanging out there. IREN. Okay, so this one looks like it's about ready to take out the intraday high that we made at 674.
This was a smoke tuna call from earlier, don't forget. IREN here, big impulse move, nice little VWAP back test and a move back towards the highs. Someone mentioned XBI earlier. Was this you, Jay? Looks like that XBI biotech breaking out here. This was a good mention earlier. I can't remember exactly who mentioned it, but this was a good one.
Yeah, freight tech just looks like we're gonna be getting over 250 and maybe moving a bit. Not sure when that happens though.
Lynn saying they opened up a new position here in Walmart, 58.35. So this is obviously post the split here.
Yeah, they've been asking about Walmart for a while, and Lynn, Randy, you guys tell me what your strategy is, but I was pointing out that sometimes with these splits, they'll sell off, and it really depends on how the market is, in what direction the market's trending as well. Because I look back at when Tesla and Apple and Amazon did their splits, and generally there was a down move followed by a large up move, and then it sank before it made new highs. So that's why I was telling them maybe not get ahead of the split, because you don't know, and there might be some selling right after that split.
Yeah, I'm with you. And if you think about the why on that 13, this is how I trade some of these split names too. And I'm glad that you mentioned it. If you think about the why here, think about it. You got a whole bunch of holders that are in at X price, wherever it is. Now, assuming over time, depending on how long they've held it, that position is going to be up. Now, all of a sudden, you do a 3-for-1 forward split. So you get 3 times as many shares, and they reduce the price by the same amount. So in theory, your position doesn't change, except you got more shares now. So why not maybe take some of those gains and get them booked after this move here? You get a little bit of profit taking that causes the price to trade back down. But in addition, now the stock's more appealing to buy, right? The price is much cheaper. More people can afford it. You might have more allotments in different funds and such. So I'm with you on that. A little bit of a dip right after that split takes effect, but then that might serve as your entry. This is actually exactly how I played Apple years ago. Bought it right after the split. It dipped down a little bit, and then it never looked back after that. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Never looked back after that. Good stuff there. Good stuff there. CXAI got mentioned here. Just taking a look around. I don't really see anything else new that we haven't been on so far today.
I have to say this, Lynn, Randy, I didn't give any advice. I just pointed out what I was seeing. I don't give advice. Okay, so IREN did the thing. It's doing the thing. IREN is moving. This is the move I was referring to that it was about to do, and now it's doing it.
Yep, and that actually broke that top off. Marvelous call here from Smoke Tuna again. Yep. We're giving you actionable opportunity every single day. Smoke Tuna, great.
And I hope you didn't forget, but there's freight.
Well, you're just queuing me up now. You're queuing me up. We think we got a VWAP reclaim here. Will mentioning OCEA. Look at that ripping here. We've identified a number of the stocks that are actually moving here today. Great stuff, folks. This is what I love to see. I tell you what, this show is really starting to lift some weight here. You guys are all contributing, and 13, of course, you too. But I mean the chat as well. No. I mean everyone here is contributing, and that makes me really, really happy. You guys are absolutely killing it. OCEA, big rip there. Remember what we just talked about on PanW. Remember to sell into strength. I think that's probably even more important on some of these junkier names. I know PanW is going to be around, I don't know, Ocean Biomedical. I have no idea. Be sure to take, when you get gains, don't be afraid to take them into strength, even if you're just lightening a portion of your position there.
Well, what's your plan when you're getting into something like Pan W? You're like, oh, I'm going to sell it when it gets to this point. Well, it got to that point, and then if you change your plan, like, oh, I'm going to let it go even more before I sell, that doesn't always work out the way you think.
Yeah. So let's discuss that, right? Let's discuss that. My plan on Pan W, I said I would have liked a little bit more than 300 or thereabouts. Well, we hit 300 today. Here's the thing, 13. I bought this on Friday. If you had asked me right when I bought it, hey, do you think it's going to hit 300? My answer to you would have been yes. If you had asked me, hey, do you think it's going to hit 300 on Monday? I probably would have said, maybe not Monday, maybe a couple of days later. Well, we got the move already. So the way I'm sitting at it here is I'm thinking, well, we got the move that I was looking for. We got it faster than I thought here. I'm not necessarily in a rush. This stock would have to halt and really sell off. And let me actually bring it up here. This stock would have to halt and really sell off, or something would have to happen for me to lose what I have here. So I'm probably going to do the same thing I did on Friday, right? I'm going to wait throughout the course of the day. I'm going to see if maybe we get a little bit of a higher price, and I'll probably exit before the close. I do not anticipate being in this. Now that we've hit this level, I don't anticipate being in this for the rest of the week. But I mean, here's the thing. When you take a look at that daily chart, and I'm playing devil's advocate here because I'm just telling you how I'm going to think when I'm in a winning trade. Remember, winning trades normally take care of themselves. Here's what I'm looking at, though. Oh, I removed it. I didn't mean to do that. Here we go. Here's what I'm looking at. Look at this gap that I'm in. Now, the greedy trader in me is sitting here like, no, dude, I'm holding this till 350. Like, for sure, 350, 360. We're going to close this gap. This is what we're going to, but I mean, realistically, is that what's going to happen? I mean, we got the 50-day moving average here at 324. We're about to take out 300 again. I mean, at this point, this was a quick trade. This was a trade opened up on Friday. We're about to close it on Monday. So yeah, I'm not trying to change my plan. I'm going to be happy with basically anything I get here, but I don't need to sell it this early in the morning. It still looks strong here. All dips intraday getting bought. Pan W.
Yeah, I've had a trading plan that I just like, oh, well, it's going much further than I thought. It could keep going. I'll just sell this, and completely abandon the plan that I had for it. And then the next day it's down lower than where I was going to sell.
One of the things that you've been telling me to do recently on some of these day trades, throw in a stop, move your stop up. Guess what I'm going to do around lunchtime, 13? I'm going to put a stop in here in Pan W. And then if I step away and I come back in and the stock's higher, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to raise that stop. It's going to be impossible for me to lose on this trade. We got effectively what we were looking for here. And now that I've, of course, said impossible, something terrible is going to happen.
The only point I was trying to make is like sometimes your first trade plan is your best trade plan.
Yeah, absolutely. And you'll hear me say all of the time that your first stop is your best stop. That works the exact same with the upside trade here. But anyway, good stuff here. Bitcoin, oh my God, Bitcoin still continuing to move here. Look at Mara. Jay, you hooked one. Jay, you hooked one big time. Mara, huge move here. So let me ask you, just strategy wise, and I'm going to target this at Jay, but 13, I'd love to hear your opinion too, or really anyone else in the chat. When you see Bitcoin doing what it was doing here this morning, right? It was higher, it kind of sold off, held those lows, and then it starts ripping on a higher volume. Is that your entry trigger into a stock like Mara? Is that what puts this on your radar? What makes you actually press the buy button? That's what I'd like to know. And 13, if you don't have an answer for that, don't worry. I kind of put you on the spot.
It's okay. When it comes to Bitcoin, I mean, any of the names that are associated with Bitcoin, I always just go back to what Bitcoin's in before I even consider anything with those names and on their own. I need to see the Bitcoin trade, and make EMA crossings and just basically do the same thing that I would look for in any trade setup. So to feel comfortable about getting into something. So I tend to look at Bitcoin first before I consider something in those other names.
Okay. Now, Jay here saying Mara, perhaps this is why you chose Mara as a target here. Mara has earnings Wednesday. I'll hold some and I'll sell some before. So really like this. Oh, you know what? I brought up the wrong screen again. I am Sorry about that, folks. Here we go. So here's what I like about that. First of all, as you had mentioned, earnings after hours Wednesday, 2 days from now, there's going to be a conference call as well. What I like here is that you're actually trading something going into earnings. Now you actually have some gain built. So you're going to be able to sell some of that position, book those gains ahead of earnings, and then maybe hold a small piece through earnings. We'll see. This is a nice move into earnings here, no doubt, on Mara. Nice, huge move here today. Let me go back to trade the pool real quick. GCT, this was mentioned earlier by Smoke Tuna, called the GCT flush to buy, now back to the top. So it looks like you were adding GCT here, low 31s. Looks like we're bouncing a little bit on that. Take a look here. Take a look at that. Pan W new highs as we go right back through 300 there. So that Pan W trade continuing to pay out.
Easy, Mike. What's the reduction going to be now? This time, is it like 3 1/4, or what's it being halved to now? Do you know?
Yeah, and for context, while we wait for that answer, Easy Mike saying with the halving in April of this year, so that's coming, that's right around the corner here. Mara might be the best of the miners, buying up a few cheaper miners. So there you go, Jay. That looks like you selected best in breed, which is something I love to do.
Oh, wow. Look at Soundhound that was being brought up by Lynn.
SOUN, let's do it.
Just a big old spike.
Ooh, a big old spike on volume. What happened here? Let me bring this up in Pro and see if I can't figure out what happened here on Soundhound. Is this just trading?
I don't know. I mean, somebody said, hey, Nvidia is trading. Oh, yeah, by the way, what's Soundhound doing?
Yeah, I think this is, I don't see any fresh news. Let me check. I don't have Squawk on, so maybe they squawked something. Looks like blocks were just crossing here. Looks like just big trades here on SOUN. Boy, that really took the intraday high out bigly. Easy Mike, interested in the Mara guidance. Okay. But April options. Was there a big call sweep? Let me bring up that options chain here and see.
Looks like Iron wants to try to take out 7.
I don't see any new call sweeps here today. Maybe that was just from before. Okay, let me take a look here. IREN, right? IREN.
Looks like it wants 7.
Sure does. Now on Reg Show Threshold Securities List for SOUN. That's from Charlie. Thank you, Lynn. So calling out the squawk there. Looks like Charlie saying that this is Reg Show here. Reg SHO. So Reg short. So, okay. Interesting. Check RX. You got it, Easy Mike. Let's do that. RX moving to the highs. All right.
Bitcoin now approaching 52K and a half.
That sound move, that was AXTI through its VWAP here.
Oh yeah. Look at Root. That one's still going. It's up to 20 or up to 20.
Yep, that's been a nice little kind of a slow grinder here today too. How's ZVSA doing? That was one of our, oh man, look at that. The halt fest early. As soon as the halts end, this thing right back to where it came from. OCEA looks like this high flyer pulling back to its VWAP now on OCEA. I wonder if this will actually line up for another opportunity here today.
I think quite a few of these could.
Kalu, looks like you had a heck of a morning here today. Awesome job. We're going to give you a register ring for your trading here today. Kalu, done for the day. Great job, man. Nice little early clock in, clock out on Monday. That's how it's done, Kalu.
Go have yourself a nice rest of the day.
I was going to say, that is how it's done.
Sound grinding higher.
Sound moving high. This is...
Yeah.
Should have traded this one. Darn.
454 is the next level I have for this one. Just cycling through some names here, seeing what's getting ready to go, seeing what's setting up. Seeing if we can find any more
AKLI, for you penny players out here, AKLI might reclaim that VWAP here and go towards that 70 mark. Look at Berkshire Hathaway. Oh, I don't know if I have Berk B in the, yeah, I don't think I have. Look at the intraday on Berk B shares. Those things 440 in the pre-market, 414 now.
Yeah, this thing needed to come in. Probably comes down to 400.
Man, this sound, what a move from 4 on SOUN. Be sure to pay yourself if you guys have this. BBAI being mentioned here in the chat. That one also pushing up here, BBAI. Jay mentioning Root caught a couple of upgrades this morning. Okay.
Interesting.
That's going to be moving Root here. Yeah, you guys are on top of the movers here today. That's for sure. Big, small, in between. You guys are all over it. I'm basically just kind of looking through some other stuff here. You guys are literally being the scanner here. How's Hollow holding up? Hollow maybe a VWAP reclaim if this keeps turning around. TRNR, this was another penny stock that this is not really doing anything. How's Forget?
No, might double bottom, but that's about all I can hope for with TRNR.
FRGT still not breaking down.
Nor is it really breaking out.
Lynn mentioning that you're getting another opportunity to add to Archer here, 486.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I should do that. Huh? Maybe I should do that.
Well, remember they have earnings tonight.
Yeah.
Maybe wait until after earnings.
Yeah, you're right. Because I just have a small starter, but it's just I'm getting such a discount on that price. Maybe adding just a few shares here. Let me actually. Sure. Yeah, I'm going to add just a little bit because it's so. It's down from my entry. We'll see here. I added a measly 50 shares of a $4.85 stock here, guys. So let's not bake the bread. I am adding so small here. If this thing comes in, no big deal at all. Not even going to sweat it.
Oh, Bitcoin's going to 53K.
PanW continuing its move higher here. This is why I didn't want to just sell right at the 300 mark on PanW. This is not a penny stock. So it's not likely to just reverse here. PanW knocked on the 300 door a couple of times, printing 302s now. This trade continuing to pay here, PanW.
Hollow trying to come back.
Oh my God, Bitcoin. You're right, 13. Look at Bitcoin. Look at SOUN too.
454. That's the target or the next level I have for SOUN. Let's see what else we got here. I had tried SQQQ on Friday, thinking that we were going to get some lower trading, but I closed that this morning when it looked like it wasn't going to happen. All right, so Iron hit 7.
Indeed, came off of it a little bit.
Yeah, Lynn, Randy, I agree. It's ACHR is a good longer term play, and I think next year is when you're gonna start seeing their products in the sky.
And I'm just looking around here.
Mm-hmm. And I've seen a lot of things setting up for later today. Not exactly sure when they're going to move, but they look like they are. Or they look like they're setting up.
This Mara CLSK run. Where are you going, office assistant? Yeah, make yourself at home.
Looks like RAPT, Wrapped Therapeutics. That one had a nice move today.
Right off that bottom, too.
IOVA could be setting up for another move. This one ran this morning to 1722, and now it's curling again off of VWAP. So this one might be setting up to make another move to 17.
Right. 13. I'm gonna drop just for a sec. You got it for just a minute?
I will hold it down.
All right.
And what are we looking at today, folks? MNPR. Take a look at MNPR. Monopar. This one does not look like it's got anything going on right now, but might be setting up later, maybe. It's coming down. It's come down to the pre-market lows, so maybe this is the level where it starts to reverse. Maybe. Sound keep going. I still am looking for 454 in this one. If it starts selling off here, then maybe later. Maybe we'll get that later. CLSK Mara, the best of the miners. I'd agree with that. I especially with CLSK. That one seemed like it had a lot of really good things going for it. And then, what do you think about MSTR, Jay? What do you think about that company? I'm not necessarily too enthusiastic about Riot, so I won't ask about that one, but just curious what you think about MSTR. VTYX. Is this one we were talking about this morning? No. What's VTYX? You think this one found a bottom? MSTR is the pure play. Okay. TRNR going back up? Well, let's take a look and see if it is. This was the one that had the distribution agreement with Woodway. This one looks like it's trying to find its second bottom. We seem to already bottom once, close to 81 cents. Looks like it's trying to trade down there again. Maybe it bounces off that level. I'll have to see what happens. Can I put my screen charts up? I can put my Benzinga charts up. Let me see here. TRNR. So we can bring up what we're talking about here. Let me see. 1 second. Okay. If you can see that, here's my Benzinga chart. Let's go to a 5-minute. Turn on these moving average. We'll turn these off. TRNR. See, it'd be nice if we got down to that 200 EMA right there and reversed. That would be nice. Let's see if that's what happens. What else should we be looking at? What's moving? Looks like OCEA is setting up to go again. Bring that one up here. So here we have a bit of a bull flag forming here on the 5-minute. Let me also do that.
So sorry about the delay.
That's okay. I'm just talking about this next move here in Ocean Biomedical. Looks like it's setting up to go
Again?
It looks like it's setting up to. If it can hold this this area down here around 2 and curl up, it might I make another run for 240 or higher.
MSTR being mentioned as a pure play here on Bitcoin. God, MicroStrategy, what a play here that was today. 78 points off that intraday move.
I am going to stop sharing my screen and hand it back over to you.
Oh, okay. I didn't even realize. Sorry about that.
I was being asked to share the screen so I could show what I was talking about.
Yeah, sorry.
It's okay.
Nature calls, my man.
Well, you answered, as was
answered. You know, I'll tell you what, Bitcoin is answering the call here today. That's what's really answering. How high can Bitcoin go? Looks like sound flagging here about that 440 level on SOUN. Let me bring that up here, see if we can get another trade in that one. All right, 13. Now, because of what we were talking about earlier, Pan W, guess what? We're going to raise our stops. We're going to set our stop at 369 just for the laughs. Okay. So now we're going to have a stop loss there. So we can't possibly lose on this trade. Let's see if it keeps running a little bit more. Oh, it came right back. As soon as I put my stop out there, like, we're going to hunt it. We're going to hunt Ryan's stop.
Looks like iNod's trying to come back. We did sell off after it hit that area that I was talking about. So
that was a resistance area. That yep.
Mm-hmm.
But you know
now,
what?
If we get back up there, it's going to be it's going to be that resistance area again. But it might get more volume to push through it. So that's the next thing to watch for.
And you know what else is notable here off this? So we went right up to that area. As you mentioned, we knifed off that area, but we didn't break down. We actually set a higher low. We've now reclaimed the VWAP. I think you're right on this, 13.
We'll have to wait and see.
Let's see what else is going on.
Looks like Bitcoin's starting to come in a bit. And with it, those names. So keep that in mind. Looks like TRNR might be double bottoming here. Who was the gentleman that was asking about that earlier? Let me see. Somebody was asking about it. Brady Weaver. Is it going back up? We're about to find out. I think it's at the level where it's got to make or break. Will bringing up Beamer again. Is that coming back?
Oh, is Beamer coming back for real? Ticker BMR. Yes, we popped on volume through the VWAP right back up to the top end of the pre-market trading range. See what the next move here is on Beamer.
Right now, it's trying to get over the 65 EMA.
Wasn't this Nvidia related? Didn't they have some Nvidia something or other on Beamer? Let me check in Pro here real quick, real fast.
I don't remember.
I think because there were a couple of these, right? Sound too, right? Sound had a stake.
Sounded.
Yes, but I think that there were several of these. Here, let me bring up Pro. Let me show you how I'm going to do this. Then I'm going to do Control F NVDA. Yep, here we go. My Nvidia shares. No, let's do next here. No, okay, so that didn't work as good as I'd hoped. See, it's not going to find any more on here because it's off the screen. Here, maybe it says in that one here. Let's see here. No, it's just talking about the volatility. So maybe not, but I could have sworn BMR. I think there were some more, I felt like. BMR and SOUN.
Yeah,
in any case.
I know what you're talking about. I'm trying to think of which ones those were.
Yes, NVIDIA News BMR. Okay. So real quick.
Because I remember there were several.
Yeah, BMR partner with NVIDIA. Thank you, Rick. Thank you, and 13. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you. Thank you too, obviously. But we're getting to the bottom of this video tech news. BMR. So that is NVIDIA, or excuse me. So BMR, SOUN. What else is related to NVIDIA recently? By the way, oh my God, take a look at this, guys. Pan W, right back to the highs. Right back to the highs. So you know what this means, 13?
This means that they're watching you.
This means that we're going to raise our stop again. Raise our stop again because we talked about this. So I had this at 369. Now we're going to move it up to 302.69 for the laughs. Confirm and send. Boom. All right. We are raising our stops now, 13. We are booking gains here today.
That was the winner.
RX is another one you guys are mentioning. Okay, thank you. So these are all stocks related to NVIDIA. That's right. RX. This was the medical or the imaging thing, right? Unless I'm mixing that. So NVIDIA NVIDIA, we have SOUN, BMR, RX. What else do we have? I feel like there was one more. Was it NNOX?
Was Hollow part of that at all? I mean, I
thought Hollow was its own thing. Maybe it was NNOX.
Hollow coming back towards the
NVIDIA sound.
the intraday high.
Yeah, Nvidia got stake in NanoX through merger, did not a direct buy. So there we go. So it's, I knew there was a fourth one, NNOX. So here are our four names here real quick. We've got related to Nvidia, we have SOUN, BMR, RXRX, and NNOX, NNOX. Those are going to be your four stocks related to the Nvidia move here. All of these trading up. Yeah, and curling here and knocks this up almost 6%. Okay, I'm going to go back to trade the pool here real quick. Well, I'm glad we got to the bottom of that. Got to the bottom of that with help from chat again. Look at chat. Chat's just out here doing it. And then don't forget about SMCI. Now that one, you're right, but that one goes without mentioning because we've been watching that one with Nvidia there. But there we go. You folks are great.
All right, I'm just looking around for some of these names we were talking about to start moving.
Well, here you go, ZVSA. This I think bottomed here. Smoke Tuna, we need your official bottoming call here. We haven't had that MACD histogram convert to positive yet, but it sure looks like this is coiling along that 140 spot. ZVSA.
Yeah.
So maybe that one, maybe keep it on your watch list for later today. We know OCEA already moved. Kalu already, his workday is already done. From his. Speaking of workday, don't they report after hours here today? Ticker W day. That's actually holding higher here, right under 310.
Might be worth taking a look at OCEA again. That one's it's still trying to curl.
Came back to its VWAP, and now it looks like it's trying to curl up off that. You're absolutely right, 13. Lynn and Randy mentioning Walmart. Yeah, and because of the split, that's why my chart looks all funky here. It might look different depending on what chart you're looking at it here. By the way, 59.22, Lynn and Randy, that was a good buy there. Robert also mentioning that NNOX, one of these stocks related to Nvidia that we were just talking about, which is curling towards the high short interest here on NNOX. Can actually read that to you. I've got 13.5% of its float shorted, 12 plus days to cover here on NNOX. That absolutely meets our criteria for high short interest. So maybe NNOX squeezing a little bit there.
Yeah, I think Ocean Biomedical is really starting to get going here.
Yes, sir. So it took 205 right here, right? Yeah, and there's a little bit of a bid there. I have a little bit more size at 215 here. I don't see much at 210, so maybe we go right through that to the 215 size that's on the tape.
It's a trying. Yeah. Even Tom's mentioning how nice of a bounce that Pan W had off that 200-day SMA.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, this trade, this probably one of my better trades in terms of the actual setup and also execution. We've talked about a lot of trades on here that have really kind of had great setups. Sometimes I've really kind of botched the execution. Pan W, this is working out to a T here. Let me flip back over to Benzinga Pro. You could see exactly what we were looking at for. Remember, we were actually watching this in the after hours when it reported, and we were talking about maybe a spot at the 50-day, kept going, maybe a spot at the 100-day. Finally, when we got to the 200-day and it slowed down, I said to myself, okay, 3 closes above this and we should be good. We actually asked Tom about that too. Tom gave me the blessing there. Look at this move here. Look at this move here.
Biomedical doing the thing. This was the one. This was the one. Just getting that VWAP, you're good to go.
There, and guess what? 13, 215, that spot we were just talking about, taken out. Way to go. Way to go. Now, I don't see a lot of size at 220. I know I'm basically going only, every nickel or so here. I don't see much size at 220. We'll see if it rockets through there.
It could probably keep going. Maybe not right this second, but in about 5 to 15 minutes, it could keep going, or it could just go right now. Sure, why not? But I think it's going to play out a little bit more in the next 5 to 10 minutes to try to get that 236 high that it made. just based on like how slow the volume is right now. I mean, if we get a lot more volume to pile in, it's going to probably take that out sooner.
VKTX, this is Viking Therapeutics. This thing's been an absolute monster. I tried trading this via options months ago. I think a $20 call. And I don't think I ended up doing very well on him. I look at the price now, $38. Boy, that was correct. That was, my timing was just off. Pan W, just an absolute effing monster right now. Pardon the language. 305 taken out. As soon as this moves above 306, 307, I'm going to raise my stop again here today. Very profitable morning. Rajiv, I could not agree with you more. Ring the register. Very profitable morning. Hearts and thank yous out to everybody. This chat, I swear, I know I was been filling in pre-market prep, and it's been awesome. And a lot of you guys are in pre-market prep. They have their own group. But I'm telling you right now, this chat, this community right here, this is absolutely what it's about. Between this and the happy hour, I don't need newsletters. I don't need CNBC. I don't need anybody else. You folks are getting it done. 306 coming here on Pan W.
AXTI.
Now I'm fired up.
Yeah, really? Couldn't tell.
I'm fired up, guys.
AXTI might be cooling off for the next move here. I think it's going to try to take out 4. I mean, if we can get the volume to come in on this one, I think 4 is getting taken out.
You have a bunch of sharks, Ryan. Easy, Mike. You got that right. You're one of them. This entire chat group, bunch of sharks that love money. Get in here. Get involved. What do you want me to say? I mean, good Lord.
Beamer trying to make a move to 845.
And this, after this pop 13, this actually doing a good job holding the stick, right? Curling back up towards those highs. I've actually got those highs here, 850 on the head. Easy, Mike, man. You're on fire today, too.
All right, what's setting up next?
Beamer right through that 850. Boy, that moved fast.
There it is. Next one I have is just under 9, around 895.
John, I'll repeat this comment any day of the week, twice on Sunday. This is the best trading chat and show. Been looking for 6 months. W's for everybody. You get the Mario
That's
one
awesome.
up. That is
because
awesome.
I'm goofy.
But you know what, though? I firmly, 13, I know you're kind of joking, but seriously, I firmly believe that introducing some type of goofiness, laughter is actually why I try to do this with sports as well. Bringing something else into the mix helps not sit on a razor's edge when you're trading. And for me, personally, it has helped tremendously over the course of my career, and I'm trying to bring that to the group here. You guys are reciprocating that, which I cannot tell you how much that means to me.
Well, I'll tell you a little bit one more thing about goofiness. That OCEA move I was mentioning, I think it's starting to happen. It's really trying to push.
I think you're right here. You absolutely pinned this one, 13. We've got the intraday high here, 237 on OCEA.
Yeah, it's coming back in a bit, but I still think that there's give it a little bit more time. I think this one's going to be higher today, in about 5 to 15 minutes.
Marvelous move here on OCEA.
Hollow under 12.
Good call. Shout out here from the chat, 13. Great call. I got to tell you what, 13. That's one thing I know. I don't even have to talk to you Monday morning. I know you're showing up with the fire and the heat needed to trade this market on a Monday. That is awesome.
It's funny you say I have fire and heat because I think I sound like I'm half awake.
You're too sharp to be. If this is you half awake, you ought to have been a Navy SEAL because you're ready to kick some butt already. Pan W here, continuing through that 306. Giddy up, folks. We are crushing it today.
Don't dishonor those fine gentlemen by bringing me into that mix.
Okay, you said it, not me. They are fine gentlemen, by the way. VTYX also being mentioned here. Oh, I put 2 V's in there. VTYX smoked tuna. This did reclaim. That was a nice little flush. You bought that flush, didn't you? Reclaim the VWAP here, moving higher here.
Looks like ZVSA this one looks like it's going under 125.
I agree. This thing has really not been able to close the distance to the VWAP there. Pan W getting in rippy mode, guys. Pan W getting into rippy mode here. We're starting to really pop towards the highs here on Pan W. Oh my gosh. 307 and change going higher here. Pan W.
Take that money.
Guess what, 13? It's time to raise the stop again.
It looks like SoundHound might have cooled off and is looking to reverse to try to make another attempt at 454. I think Iron's about to try to take out 701. The volume needs to pick up a bit here. It's been cooling off a little bit too much, but
okay, I'm going for 306.69. Stop in. I know it's right there. We'll see what happens here. Let's see if we keep pushing.
Have you taken any off the table in Pan W yet?
No, I'm looking to take the entire amount off. I didn't get it very big. It was just for a shorter play here. So here, let me go ahead and, oh, you know what? I think I screwed this up. I didn't hit send and confirm and send. There we go. 306. I don't think the stop is being raised. You know what? I'm just going to replace it here.
What did you get that in at?
282.41.
Jeez.
Yeah. Yep. We're looking at 25 points worth of gain here. So
that's great.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I'm actually just going to put this order out here. Okay. Order out 307.69 and filled, and we are out. Holy smokes. Hold that. That is a monster move. 25 points.
All right, SoundHound's
points. There we go.
SoundHound's getting some activity here. I think we're trying for 454. As long as OCEA can hold up here above 2.
I'm giving myself a register ring for that.
Yes,
what a monster move here on Pan W. Big time trade there. 25 points. Bought it on Friday. We gave you the plan early. We are out. Oh, this is how we start off a Monday, 13. This is how we start off a Monday. Bang, bang,
yes, it
bang.
is. And OCEA, I think it's trying to make the move here now. And almost there.
That was so. I watched Empire last night, but what you were doing, that was New Hope. That was New Hope. Yeah. That was Porkins, right? Oh no, that's Red Leader. That's Red Leader. Almost there. Yeah, almost I got there. That one.
It's away.
It's away. Oh my God. OC. We're having a lot of fun here today, folks.
Okay, I've got a problem here.
I'm actually looking at the clock. I can't even believe this. We are out of time, folks. No. We end in 50 seconds here. We end in 50 seconds. I got to say, the energy today, you know how athletes sometimes talk about how the crowd takes them, the crowd motivates them, all of that. That is exactly what's happening here. You guys are absolutely awesome. Any closing thoughts here on the day 13?
Oh man, some of these we just needed to wait for the setups, and they provided them. And now we got OCEA doing the thing. We got SoundHound doing the thing. You guys just get those setups locked in, and they should run. They should do their thing. As long as the volume holds up, these are some good trades. Hope your trading is just as good for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Take care.
Likewise. Hope your trading is good for the rest of the day. 13. Why don't we say we come back Tuesday and double it up? Let's have a great day on Tuesday. Folks, just want to thank all of you for being here today. We are out of time. You folks are absolutely amazing. Killing it. We're making money left and right here. We got register rings. We got levels up. We got the whole 9 yards. 13 and I are going to be back tomorrow, folks. Thank you again, everybody. Stay green. Stay